Alright, we've made it to step 2 of the written instructions. This is the part where we're going to take our main bracket and mount it to this adapter plate. This is a male-female tapered fit. Now in most cases we're going to be able to take our main bracket, slide it onto the taper, and then use the included carriage bolts with a washer and a nut, working my carriage bolt from this direction. On this particular motor that we're using here, we've got plenty of room to put a washer and a nut on the back side without interfering with the grinder housing itself. However, in some cases, such as what we see along the back of the table here, the size of the grinder housing will make a difference as to whether or not this carriage bolt needs to come in from the outside or work it from the inside. Now, in the cases in which we're not able to mount the carriage bolt in this direction because of the interference with the grinder housing, we may need to tap or slightly clearance the slots in this main bracket to get this carriage head to seat down onto that adapter plate nice and flush. So you may need to do that on grinders where this is a fairly large surface and interference is. Now in some of these close-up shots that I'm going to show you, this blue housing has plenty of clearance. We're able to slide the carriage bolts in just like our instructions tell us to do. Washer and nut fit no problem. On this big machine that has the silver housing, you'll see that we have to reverse the direction of that carriage bolt. The head does clear the housing of the machine without a problem, and our washer and nut end up going on the outside towards the multi-tool surface rather than towards the grinder. Now on the large white machine, you'll see we have to do something a little bit more special. This references the note that was actually in figure 1 of the instructions, in which in order to get even the carriage head to come in from the opposite direction that the instructions recommend, we actually have to space the adapter plate out using a couple of washers. So you'll see a note in figure 1, and this photo will show you what that looks like in order to clear the carriage bolt head. So once we have this main bracket situated onto our adapter plate and we figured out what orientation that our bolts need to go, then we simply tighten that up, keeping it very square all the way around that adapter plate. So we don't want to see it cocked off to one side, up, down, or the other. And we want to make sure that this surface is nice and vertical. That'll give a nice place to mount the arm to without the arm sticking up or sticking down. In our 4-inch models, you may end up coming back to this step to do kind of a macro tracking adjustment. Typically, once we have the 2-inch models seated up nice and flush all the way around, we have no tracking issues, but we may come back to this particular step and make an adjustment as to how that main bracket fits on the taper to help our 4-inch models track the best that they can.